My name is Shaul Bassi. I teach English and post-colonial literature at the University Ca' Foscari of Venice, and I'm returning to VIU to teach a course called Representing Global Cities, Venice, London, Mumbai. What is a global city? This is the question that we are asking during the course, and we try to give individual answer by focusing on three very different and yet very interesting cities, namely Venice, where students are currently living, London, and Mumbai, the Indian city formerly known as Bombay. Not only are these cities different, but we also employ different materials and different texts to analyze these cities. As far as Venice is concerned, we began by reading a very interesting book called Venice, the Tourist Maze, the world's most touristed city, and which is a sociology, history, and part anthropology book, which is a good start because it starts from the experience of people and of foreigners living the city, and it reminds us that Venice may not be a metropolis anymore, but it used to be a metropolis, and of course it may be one of the earliest and one of the first European global cities. And by looking at this book, we also ask students to compare their own experience of the city to that described in the book. And I've asked students to go out and work in groups and interview Venetians, but also interview residents and tourists, so that they can understand that the VIU students comprise a very interesting segment of the population who is neither tourists nor residents. Then we also look at movies that talk about Venice, like Bread and Tulips, and movies that talk about the other two cities. As far as London is concerned, we read a very interesting anthology called London City of Disappearances, which deals with London not as the place as it is now, but as the place where memories of people and places have been somehow forgotten or is about to be forgotten. So literature can help us keeping certain parts of the city that vanish alive, and to keep the history and the memory of the city alive. So Ian Sinclair, who's the author of the book, has asked different people to tell stories about things that are no longer there. And that's helped us in a moment, in a time where globalization in certain ways also tends to erase, to cancel out certain memories, to keep these memories alive. The third book we analyze and we read is called Maximum City, Bombay Lost and Found, and this with the new big Asian metropolis, a city that is younger than Venice and London and has become one of the most interesting and exciting world cities. Bombay, that recently for political reasons changed its name into Mumbai. And the book, it's a great narrative about people in the city, because people are always the center of our investigation. And so through interesting characters and certain political characters, but also dancers and actors and policemen, Suketu Mehta, who is the author of this book, helps us to understand what makes global cities. And of course, we'll look at some sort of conclusion. We try to understand whether Venice and London and Mumbai can be actually compared to each other, and how in this world globalization lends itself to questions that are raised by the cities and through the cities. So I'm really looking forward to understanding whether it makes sense to compare Venice, London, and Mumbai, and this is something that we do through a constant dialogue and conversation with the students and their own experience of their respective global cities, because some of them were born and live in global cities.